I can understand how you guys feel. It's the worst possible.
Blake Shelton's smile lights up stages and screens, embodying the image of country music's most joyful star. Yet beneath that easygoing charm lies a story marked by profound loss and heartache, a journey far darker than the public ever suspects. From the tragic death of his older brother in his youth to the repeated collapse of his marriages under the relentless glare of fame, Blake's life is a testament to how success can sometimes become a cage rather than a crown. What is the hidden pain behind every song he writes? And how has his fortune both saved and isolated him? Today, we uncover the heartbreaking truth behind Blake Shelton's life beyond the spotlight. Blake's relationship with Gwen Stefani has captivated fans worldwide, hailed as a fairy tale union between two unlikely souls, a country music icon from Oklahoma and a pop superstar from California. Their love story began in late 2015 on the set of The Voice, where both were healing from painful divorces. The world watched as their romance blossomed, a beacon of hope for second chances. But behind the glossy Instagram posts and red carpet smiles, insiders reveal a growing distance. Gwen spends most of her time in Los Angeles, immersed in her fashion empire and music projects, while Blake retreats to his sprawling Oklahoma ranch, a sanctuary that has grounded him since childhood. Their $13 million Encino mansion, purchased in 2020, was meant to be a shared haven, a place where Gwen's California glamour could meet Blake's country roots. Instead, it now stands eerily quiet, a symbol of promises unkept. Those close to the couple describe it less as a home and more as a monument to a love strained by conflicting worlds. Blake longs for the peace of dirt roads and quiet mornings on the ranch, where he can hunt, fish, and write songs in solitude. Gwen thrives on the fast-paced energy of Los Angeles, the creative buzz that has fueled her career since the 90s. What once seemed like a perfect balance now feels like an unbridgeable divide. Adding to the emotional complexity is Blake's deep bond with Gwen's three sons, Kingston, Zuma, and Apollo. From the beginning, Blake embraced his role as a stepfather with a tenderness that surprised many. He often spoke about how these boys gave him a new sense of purpose beyond the stage. A potential split would not only shatter his marriage but also sever the family ties he cherishes deeply. For a man who has already endured 2 divorces, the thought of losing this connection is devastating. In July 2021, Blake and Gwen exchanged vows in an intimate ceremony at a private chapel Blake built on his ranch. It was Blake's 3rd marriage, and he hoped it would be his last. Now, whispers of trial separations and looming divorce threaten to turn that chapel from a sanctuary into a symbol of heartbreak. Blake's story reveals a cruel irony. Love found in the spotlight can burn the brightest but fade the fastest. And when the cracks appear, the question remains: can Blake's vast fortune protect him, or will it only deepen his pain? On paper, Blake Shelton's life is the American dream. 49, he has amassed an estimated $150 million fortune, a level of success few country artists ever reach. But behind the glittering numbers lies a more painful reality. Wealth has only magnified his loneliness. Since his debut single Austin in 2001, Blake has racked up over 30 chart-topping hits, cementing his place as Nashville's most bankable star. His role as a coach on The Voice brought in an estimated $13 to $15 million per season over 23 seasons, while endorsement deals with Pepsi, Pizza Hut, and Smithworks Vodka, plus his Ole Red restaurant chain, have added layers to his empire. Yet those closest to Blake say the money has never brought him the peace he craves. His prized possession is his 1,300-acre 10-point ranch in Tishomingo, Oklahoma, purchased for nearly $15 million. The sprawling property includes a Victorian mansion, horse barns, a private chapel, and a barn-dominium for guests. To outsiders, it's a symbol of luxury. To Blake, it's both fortress and prison. Every acre reflects his desperate attempt to build permanence in a life marked by impermanence, failed marriages, industry pressures, and relentless public scrutiny. Nearby, his Lake Texoma retreat houses a private recording studio where Blake writes some of his most raw and emotional songs. It's a place of solitude where the roar of sold-out arenas fades into silence. For Blake, music is therapy, but it also underscores a painful truth. Even millions can't erase the wounds beneath the surface. His commercial ventures, like Ole Red, were meant to connect fans to his small-town roots, blending country music with Southern hospitality. Instead, they have become branded outposts, reminders that his personality has been commodified. Every paycheck from restaurants, vodka sales, and endorsements is a stark reminder that the man behind the music is now a product. What makes Blake's fortune tragic is not how it was earned but how it's used. With endless resources, he can retreat into his properties, shutting out the world and himself. Instead of facing heartbreak and loss head-on, he builds another house, buys more land, or launches new businesses. In Nashville circles, many quietly admit that money has become Blake's shield, protecting him from others but also from confronting his own pain. His net worth headlines stories, but beneath the surface lies a haunting irony. His empire has given him freedom but cost him the connection he desperately seeks. What childhood tragedy still echoes through every lyric Blake sings? The answer lies in a loss that shaped his very soul. When Blake was just 14, his older brother Richie died in a devastating car crash near their hometown of Ada, Oklahoma. Richie was 24, a rising musician with dreams of making it big in the same industry Blake would later conquer. To Blake, Richie was more than a brother. He was a mentor, protector, and the person who made music feel possible. Losing him was like losing an anchor in a storm. Friends and neighbors recall the accident as one of the darkest moments in the Shelton family's history. Blake's parents leaned on faith and community, but for Blake, the grief was a private battle. At an age when most boys worry about school dances and football games, he was grappling with mortality. Tragedy stole not only his brother but also his sense of safety and permanence. Music became his refuge. Guided by his uncle Ronnie Millsap, Blake threw himself into songwriting, pouring out emotions too heavy to speak aloud. By 15, he was competing in local talent shows, his voice carrying a raw pain that judges couldn't ignore. What seemed like ambition was really survival, a way to keep Richie's memory alive through song. When Blake released Austin in 2001, fans heard a heartfelt ballad of love and loss, but those close to him knew the roots of his vulnerability ran much deeper. In 2012, Blake co-wrote Over You with then-wife Miranda Lambert, a song inspired by Richie's death that became a country anthem of grief, winning Song of the Year at the CMA Awards. For Blake, it was more than a hit, it was Richie's voice finally reaching the world. Yet, this profound loss also shaped Blake's struggles with love. The emotional blueprint Richie's death created left Blake chasing connection but haunted by the fear of inevitable loss. Fans see a charismatic coach on The Voice, but behind the scenes, he remains the 14-year-old boy who lost his brother on an Oklahoma road. Cruel irony is that Richie's death gave Blake the depth and authenticity that fuel his songwriting, but it also left him vulnerable to heartbreak. Why do Blake Shelton's marriages always end in heartbreak? His romantic life follows a tragic pattern: initial joy, deep connection, then inevitable collapse. Psychologists call it unresolved trauma. Fans see a heartbreaking cycle. Blake's first marriage was to his high school sweetheart Kaynette Williams in 2003. She represented the stability he longed for after years of grief. But as Blake's career soared with hits like Austin and Some Beach, the demands of fame pulled them apart. Touring, studio sessions, and the pressures of stardom created distance, and by 2006 they divorced. In 2011, Blake married Miranda Lambert, Nashville's golden couple. Both were fiercely independent artists navigating the same high-pressure industry. For a time, it seemed the cycle might break. But behind the scenes, jealousy, clashing egos, and emotional baggage turned their marriage combustible. By 2015, their divorce shocked fans and left Blake devastated. His song She's Got Away with Words captured the bitterness, proving heartbreak was still his muse. Then came Gwen Stefani. Meeting on The Voice in late 2015, both fresh from divorces, they found comfort in each other. Their differences felt exciting, his Oklahoma roots blending with her California glamour. But insiders now reveal cracks: Gwen's life in Los Angeles versus Blake's isolation on his ranch. Pattern is clear: Blake's unresolved grief fuels a subconscious fear of abandonment. Each marriage begins with hope but ends with the same painful confirmation that loss is inevitable. Blake's rise to fame reads like a dream come true. His debut single Austin ruled the charts for 5 weeks in 2001, and by 2004, Some Beach cemented his status. But success came with a hidden cost. His first marriage crumbled under the weight of his career's demands. Touring schedules and Nashville's industry machine pulled him away from the small-town life he loved. This tension deepened with Miranda Lambert, whose marriage became a media spectacle. Constant separation, months on tour, and tabloid scrutiny took their toll. By 2015, the marriage ended, and Blake channeled his pain into music. The Voice brought Blake national fame and millions of dollars, but filming in Los Angeles kept him away from Oklahoma for nearly half the year. The show that made him America's favorite cowboy also stripped him of the simple life that kept him grounded. When he stepped down in 2023, it wasn't just to slow down, it was the choice of a man feeling trapped by the dream he once prayed for. Fame had given him accolades but left him more isolated than ever. Blake's discography is a map of triumph and tragedy. 28 #1 singles, Grammy nominations, and sold-out tours mark his success. Yet albums like If I'm Honest and Texoma Shore reveal a man searching for peace he can't find. His upcoming 2025 album, For Recreational Use Only, hints at resignation, music as a distraction rather than a lifeline. Those close to Blake say he's growing nostalgic, wondering what life might have been if he'd chosen family over fame, love over ambition. Despite his struggles, Blake's philanthropy shines. He's donated over $600,000 to cancer research, inspired by personal losses. Through the 2013 Moore, Oklahoma tornado, he headlined a benefit concert raising millions. He's quietly funded schools during budget cuts and redirected restaurant revenue during the pandemic to support employees. His devotion to the military is well known, hosting fundraisers and honoring veterans with more than just money. These acts show a man channeling pain into purpose, even as loneliness shadows his life. 49 Blake's personal story mirrors the themes of his songs, loss, love, and longing. His bond with Gwen's sons adds another layer of risk. If this marriage ends, he could lose not just a wife but children he loves like his own. The cycle of abandonment that began with Richie's death threatens to repeat. Blake's unhealed grief has been magnified, not softened, by success. Every achievement carries a hidden cost, another fracture in his personal life, another wall between him and true connection. As Blake approaches 50, he stands with wealth, fame, and admiration, but also with the unbearable loneliness of a man who got everything he thought he wanted, and still feels empty inside. What do you think is the most heartbreaking part of Blake Shelton's story? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know what you think.